Hey there, hunters. Welcome back to the Gunners Guild. Apologize for any of the echo and such. I'm in a new office because I just moved and there is literally nothing here. So I got an echo. I get it. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about all the new information regarding gunning here in Monster Hunter Wilds that was revealed to us during the Gamescom streams and trailers and all that stuff. Probably not going to touch on everything because I kind of want this to be fairly short, but I'll cover whatever seems relevant. So let's just dive in. Starting with the bow, and thankfully Elps on the Discord wrote up a huge document with all the bow findings, and you can find that in the link below. But basically I'm just going to summarize some bullet points from this. First is that the weapon showcase that we saw for bow was probably a much more dated title, because in the demo, escalating shots and charging on dash stances and stuff like that worked every single time. So that was kind of like one big era of confusion out of the window, which is great. Second is that yes, power codes are infinite use like I thought, but bow now has this trick bow meter that you have to use for both the tracer arrows and your power codes. It refills over time and when you're attacking, so much like bowgun meters, but it doesn't seem to be too bad to maintain. That being said, having to apply power coats every 8 shots is going to suck the life out of our DPS, but I'll still take infinite coats to running out 70% of the way through a hunt any day. Third point is that the adept dodge looks straight up broken. It refills both our trick arrow gauge as well as our stamina to keep us going longer. It doesn't seem to cost anything or have any cooldown or meter associated with it other than what it refills. So perfect adept dodge bow is going to be pretty flipping killer, to be honest. We might not even need constitution. And lastly, bow just seems like it's going to play like world bow, so it's going to have fixed shot patterns, but no infinite charge force spam by holding onto charges with dash dances. So you can hold on to charges more, or longer I should say, because you can apply coatings without losing your charge, you can use tracer arrows without losing your charge, and that's cool. But it's probably going to be less dash dance spammy, which is great in my opinion. It seems like the rotation for combat now is going to be more varied, and will probably want us to use stuff like arrows to open up wounds, apply volley arrows to stick to those wounds, and then focus strike and dragon pierce the wounds with the arrows in them for big explosions, and then kind of rinse and repeat. So it's a lot more involved than just dash dancing, and I think that's going to be a pretty good playstyle. Everything else though seems to do exactly what we thought it did. You know, arc shot magnets to weak spots, that's cool. They still blow up. Dragon pierce is pretty fast now because you can chain it into mid bow combos and such. But you get the general idea. Nothing too crazy or new was discovered, but a lot of things were validated and confirmed, which is great. So I love where Wild's bow is headed, and to be honest, I may actually stick with it longer this time around because it doesn't seem to be, you know, as spammy and just dash dancey. Next, let's talk about bow guns, and let's start with the ammo since it's shared between the two. So there are a lot of ammo changes in Wilds. First thing I want to get out of the way though, disregard ammo icons. As much as I would love to think that we have a ton of new ammos and such, I believe it's just demo UI issues where it's not fully fleshed out for everything. From the looks of it, we have all the standard ammos that we had in World. Nothing new, just whatever ammos we had in World, think about that. That being said, ammos work a lot differently here in Wilds. So here on the first stat page, we have our 3 listed raw ammos, normal, pierce, and spread. These are infinite use ammos now. Yes, infinite. Now, conflicting reports on that because during the heavy bowgun demonstration, the devs specifically said that they were on a gauge or recharge system and not exactly unlimited, but I don't know about that. I've seen nothing to indicate that anywhere else, so I'm gonna go with infinite. Also, these levels next to the ammo indicate the level in which you shoot the ammo. So like it says normal 2 here, which means that when we shoot normals, they're level 2. We don't shoot normal ones, we don't shoot level 3s. Same for spread and pierce, they're level 1 here, not 2, not 3. So all ammo in Wilds is just a single ammo. We don't have normals 1, 2, and 3 anymore, we just have normals. This includes spread, pierce, elemental, status, crack, sticky, whatever you want. The level of the ammo that you shoot is determined by the gun itself. This kind of reminds me of the issue that we had in 5th gen gunning, where we only cared about level 3 ammos as they were strictly superior to all the lower level ammos. But this also doesn't remedy the fact that we're also just going to use the bowguns to have the best ammo anyway. This ammo system does seem to apply to all ammos, and we've seen them go to at least level 2. We're probably going to go to level 3s later on. I don't think we're going to get level 4s. But your ammo table will show you exactly the level of ammo you can fire for all your ammos, not just like your infinite raws here on the front status page. Other ammo notes I have is that normals can now pierce monsters, and not in the same way that pierce does. Like normals penetrate a monster and then hit a monster behind them. Like here on the Dashaguma, you can feasibly attack multiple monsters in a herd with just normals, because it'll hit the monster, continue on, and then hit the next monster. And this is different than, say, Pierce ammo, which ticks multiple times per second while inside a body. So this would get like, 4 or 5 damage numbers before leaving a monster and going into the next one. So that's interesting for normals, on top of the fact that normals seem to be rapid fire all the time. We'll get to that in just a second. Elemental ammo also is piercing like it was in World, though the pierce rate seems absolutely insane, and these clips were getting like 4 or 5 ticks in no time, so I think elemental ammo might just be insanely good again like it was in Sunbreak. And then another thing that's interesting is spread now is no longer just a flat like duckbill spread, like you're not going to have a straight line of shots every time. It's now a square reticle that just shotguns in a random spot in there. So it's going to be a lot more RNG related, but of course if you're point blank it's not going to matter that much anyway. But it is a very different way of shooting, which I actually appreciate a whole lot, to be honest. And that's pretty much all I got for ammo. So let's go back over to the bowgun stats. So on the stats page here, we have 2 mod slots. Now these mod slots were said to be used to further boost levels of your ammo, so we may get something similar to Safi Jiva weapons, where we can get like pierce boost or spread boost on a weapon to give them, more rounds per clip, and then more like damage on them, and maybe increase them from like spread 2s or spread 3s, kind of like that. I'm not sure if the weapon's also going to get a 3rd or a 4th mod slot or something like that when they upgrade, because the UI doesn't really have room for it unless it kind of just expands the UI as it upgrades, which I guess it can. But I'm wondering if we're going to be limited to these 2 mod slots, and that's going to be very restricting, like Worlds where we only had like 3 and it was hard to balance recoil, reload, and damage mods. We also don't even know what mods we're going to be able to have. Are we going to have long barrels? Are we going to have shield bonuses? Are we going to have silencers? Are we going to have recoil? Are we going to have reload mods? Are we going to have evade to reload? Are we going to have close range, long range, slower trajectory, faster trajectory? We don't know anything about mods, and I kind of want to know a lot. But anyway, let's move on because it's better to talk about stuff we do know about. So here we have special ammo, and heavy bowgun does have 2, the Wyvern Heart and the counter sticky shot, which also uses the same gauge. Whereas light bowgun, who just has Wyvern Blast, and then the focus attack is a separate cooldown, so it's not considered special ammo. But that's pretty much all it for the stat pages. Let's move over to the light bowgun itself. Now light bowgun is a little different here than we thought from the trailers. First being the quick reload, we didn't see any of that at Gamescom. The normal 2s shot here were very much using the slower normal reload. It's still pretty fast, but it's not what we saw. But I'm also unsure if this is the fastest reload or not. But what we do know now is that fast reload is actually a rapid chaser shot when not using rapid fire energy. It's not actually reloading, it's actually going to fire a bonus quick shot. The second thing about light bowgun is the rapid fire energy mode. This seems way different than we imagined. First part is that rapid fire energy is what actually enables your rapid fire. Seems so obvious in hindsight. You can see here spread and thunder ammo without rapid fire mode engaged, and they don't have rapid fire, despite the bowgun in the demo having them as rapid fire options. Now when you toggle rapid fire mode, it will now let you rapid fire those selected ammos. So light bowgun doesn't get to freely rapid fire all the time like it used to, and now has to manage a gauge and only rapid fire in bursts only, so that's kind of a downgrade. Now also during this rapid fire mode, we do get to see that the small siege crouch shot is the rapid chaser when you do it with the actual energy. So what it does is that after you shoot a rapid shot, it acts like a power shot, from bow. It's going to give you a bonus shot that grants 1 more bullet on top of its rapid fire. So elemental shots will go from a 2-shot burst to a 3-shot burst with the chaser. It's more risky due to the immobility of it, but it's also adding recoil, and so I'm kind of wondering if it's even worth the DPS. It's only 1 extra shot, and it probably takes a lot less time to just shoot another shot. So side note though regarding normal ammo, because of the way rapid fire energy works, and because we've seen heavy bowgun use rapid fire normals, I've concluded that part of the new property for normal ammos is that they just default to rapid fire 3 shots. This explains why heavy bowgun can suddenly rapid fire that one specific ammo that we've seen, with no one ever pointing that out, like why does heavy bowgun get rapid fire, as well as why rapid fire mode for light bowgun adds 2 more shots to its volley to give you a 5-shot burst, because it's adding rapid fire, like more rapid fire. I think it's pretty cool to be honest, and it's a good change for normal ammo, which in my opinion should just be called like burst ammo now. But yeah, rapid fire energy mode is actually way different than what we thought. Now we also get to see and confirm that yes, the Valor sidestep during the rapid fire mode can in fact use any ammo that you can rapid fire. As seen here, it's used with an elemental shot, so that's going to open up the doors for a lot of interesting playstyles for light bowgun, I'm sure. And then we also get to see that we can either reload or fire off the slide, which is great. So yeah, I do like the light bowgun's mobility for sure. And another small confirmation is that yes, the specials are split, so we do have 1 landmine on the left and 3 countermines on the right with separate cooldowns. That's our Valor shot, so they don't share a resource like heavy bowguns does. Now let's move on to the heavy bowgun. So heavy bowgun. So the stats page of the heavy bowgun does show the same infinite raw ammos, the same levels, the same 2 mod slots available, and the special ammos here. But notice that the shield mod is not present. So again, we go back to thinking that heavy bowguns will actually have all shields all the time, and they're not removable. The shield does have auto guard per the norm, but you can also now manually block with triangle and circle, which was our melee bash or shoulder check, which we no longer have, and I'm actually really sad about that. Those are really good features. Manual blocks though can trigger a perfect guard if timed properly, and if you do, you get to roll out of that, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, the only reason why you would manually guard is to trigger clashes, but if it turns out that it's not needed or wastes too much time, we're probably not ever going to guard anyway. Also because no more fat roll, at least not anywhere near as bad as it was in 5th gen. Heavy bowgun roll is looking pretty good. It's not slow, it's not chunky, and so I'm super happy about that. Even with the shield mod, evading with heavy bowgun probably going to be faster and safer unless you get like some really good guard recovery skills or something. Now we also get to keep the sidestep from Rise. Hopefully we can chain 2 or 3 of those together, but yeah, like overall heavy bowgun's mobility is looking pretty good. Moving on, if you notice too, heavy bowgun has much bigger clip sizes by default compared to light bowgun. With the same rapid fire normal 2s, it has a clip 8 instead of light bowgun's clip 4, but of course it rapid fires them at a much slower rate and has more recoil for some reason. And that's the only special thing I saw about using ammo with heavy bowgun. Now moving on to heavy bowgun's Wyvern Heart, it still ramps up the damage as you shoot, and it seems to take about 1/3 the clip to reach the full potential, which is similar to World's Wyvern Heart, and different from some breaks where it was almost instantly at full potential. This means that dropping your Wyvern Heart due to getting hits or having to roll is going to be a big detriment to your DPS, and you should probably just remove it and let it recharge if that happens. The second special ammo which you have is like a sticky counter shot kind of thing. It's probably only good for like wounded staggers or making wounds probably. I don't know. It doesn't deal very much damage, and it shares the same resource with your Wyvern Heart, so it's kind of like, why would you want to use it unless it does something special? Because also you're not going to want to use Wyvern Heart unless you're at full energy gauge anyway. You want to have the most uptime of full damage. So heavy bowgun overall is looking much like World's heavy bowgun. I'm really excited for the new ammo systems to see how they play out with the bowgun specifically, but there's nothing really flashy or special with heavy bowgun that we saw. It's more or less just point and shoot. I think light bowgun's looking way more fun, to be honest. Now, one of the things we didn't get to see is the recoil and reload tables. Literally nobody got clips of the second stat page for bowguns. I can see ammo tables, I can see weapon stats, I can see armor skills, but no recoil or reload. We don't know if the weapons are going to have tables like they did in World. Will they have new tables? Will there be like recoil and reload mods or armor skills? We have no idea anything about that, and it's a big factor for bowguns. So between that and like all these new systems, I actually have no idea how bowguns are going to land, because honestly, it's going to be determined by if Capcom gives us good ammo that we can use frequently with not bad recoil. But anyway, I want to end up on a sour note. So yes, moonshots are back. Got a really nice clip here showcasing those. Can't wait to be frustrated by that forever. But anyway, that's all I got. Thank you all for watching, and good luck out there, hunters.